Okay. I hope that's okay. All right. So welcome.
In the chat box, Yolanda, if you can hear us.
Yeah, just yell out, or like either come off mute because it's just you, or pop in the chat. But I'm excited for this one. This is the lovely Prue too, by the way, Yolanda. She's in Sydney. You are in Sydney, yeah? Like what suburb are you in?
I'm in Woolooware, which is near Cronulla.
Oh, see, it's beautiful there. I'd love to live in Cronulla. Anyway, so we're going the way. Pardon?
Hello.
Oh, I thought you just said something, Prue. Yeah, so I am going to introduce Prue. She's going to do a couple of dishes first. But first, we would just like to share a little bit about ourselves and why we're passionate about sharing with mums and helping mums, and kind of our intention for today. So you probably know me if you're watching this as a replay, or you're watching now. You will know me from my social media, life_Laura Jane, so Life by Laura. And I'm going to just spotlight this for a second. And, you know, I got into Thermomix over 3 years ago now to just earn myself a second jug and get on with, you know, things, go back to normal. And I have not left Thermomix because I've fallen in love with the community. I've fallen in love with teaching other mums and other people how to be healthy and learning about nutrition and whatnot. So the Thermomix business for me has been a game changer. It has meant I can work from home with my kids and do something I'm really passionate about, which is food and health. So that's a little bit of my backstory if you didn't know, Yolanda, and those that are watching the replay. But today we are intending to show you guys some tips that are going to make you, you know, have a little bit more energy, give you a bit more time, especially in the mornings, and just like take care of yourself, because as a mum it can be hard. We often put ourselves last. And we hopefully you guys pick up some new things. We're going to be sharing a few new announcements from Thermomix and upcoming updates and things like that as well. So if you've got any questions, by all means, pop that in the chat. I am going to take it over to Prue. Prue, you can introduce yourself and tell us your why and your story.
Well, I've only been a consultant now for about 6 months and absolutely love it. Basically, had a demo, fell in love with the machine straight away. It was like an Energizer bunny. The consultant that did my demo said to me, oh, you know, you seem very passionate about this already. Why don't you become a consultant? And I was like, why not? It's very flexible. I have 2 young children and at the time didn't have a job. So it sort of just fell into my lap and I'm really happy it did, because there's just so many opportunities with Thermomix. You can go so far, and they're just a really great supportive company. I'm really enjoying it. Plus I love to cook, and but even if I didn't love to cook, it's the easiest machine ever. So there's nothing you can't love about Thermomix. What I'm going to cook for you today is what I've recently discovered. It's called a 10-second coconut bread, and I'm obsessed with it. So I've literally made it. This is probably the 5th time I've made it in 2 weeks. I've taken it to a friend's barbecue. Even though we were in lockdown, we weren't supposed to be at a barbecue, but everyone's sort of, you know, getting a bit over it. I've taken it to the park a couple of times, just made it for the kids because they sort of think it's cake, but it's more like a soft bread. And it's super healthy and really easy. And here we go. So this isn't a cookery recipe, so it's not guided cooking. It's just a recipe that I've found on another website called, because there's just lots of different platforms that you can find recipes from. There's, you know, things called Skinny Mixers and Recipe Community. This one's called TRTLMT. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah, when you shared it, it was familiar, but I'll at the end of this workshop, or, you know, later tonight, you'll get an email if you've registered with the links to all of these recipes and stuff too. So I'm going to share that with everyone, so you don't have to pop it in the chat box. But while before you start and you're just setting up there, I will say, Yolanda, if you want to share in the chat box, we'd love to know, to make this really specific, we'd love to know what is most interesting to you at the moment and what you're really looking for. Is it more time, more health, more money? Are you wanting to get more creative? You know, the list is endless, but tell us what you're struggling with and what we can help you with the most, if you'd like, and then we can kind of tailor this to you as well. And that goes for anyone watching this back. please let us know how you're struggling in the kitchen at the moment. All right, go for it, Prue.
So this is very easy. Basically, I've got to go to the scales bit of my Thermomix machine, which is, there's lots of different functions, and I'm going to use the scales function. And I'm just going to follow it on my phone. So it says put in 150 grams, and it's just basically put all the ingredients in, whiz it up, and put it into cakes, and it's as easy as that. So 150 grams of self-raising flour. It's got inbuilt scales, so the bottom of the little legs of the scales. And I'm just going to pour until it hits 150. And then it says 80 grams of designated coconut.
I love how flexible this can be. Like, you don't, even though there's recipes and they're a guide, you don't have to be right on the money, do you? You can always just like use up what you've got. You know, don't leave.
Well, that's exactly right. And in the next recipe, I've actually sort of done that because I didn't have some ingredients, which is fine though, because you know, you can improvise with a lot of stuff. Some sugar, 90 grams of sugar. The other day I cut the sugar content of this in half just because I was going to the park with kids. And this is also just a fantastic recipe if you're having like people over for morning tea, afternoon tea. It's just so great to whip it up. It's really versatile. So we've got some coconut oil. So far we've used flour, coconut, sugar, coconut oil, and a little bit of milk. And that is going to be all of us. It's just 5 ingredients.
I reckon this would be beautiful as like a substitute for like banana bread too. Like you could just toast it in the morning.
As I said, I'm to eat the milk. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. And some milk.
And yeah, if you are being really health conscious, you can kind of really cut that sugar content out. You probably hear my baby in the background.
That's okay. Moms do. We do things with our kids around all the time, but that's okay. That's another thing about the Thermomix, which is amazing. It's safe. So you can cook and do things with your kids, and you don't have to worry about the water being hot or the stove being on. It's just safe.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, so now I'm going to whiz it up with the blender function.
Awesome. I love that you're using the blend function.
Yeah, it's... Oh, sorry. What have I done? Okay, so it's. I'm just going to change the time to about 10 seconds from 30 because it automatically, when it's on the blender function, goes to 30. And here we go. 10 seconds of blending.
I love that with the blend function, you can literally just walk away and it actually gradually lifts in speed. So if you were blending something really hot, it would slowly build to that speed. Like it's really, really smart, that mode. It knows exactly how to kind of get the desired outcome. And walk away.
So I'll pour it into this cake tin that I've already got here. And this is how easy it is.
So good.
So now it says to go in for about 20 to 25, but I'll probably keep it in there for as long as I can till we finish to show you the end product. It usually takes about 30 minutes. Okay, so here we have it. Before it goes in the oven, I'll pop it in the oven now.
Oh, so Prue, Yolanda just said she's mostly looking at less time-consuming recipes for their family. She's got an 11-year-old that she wants to teach to be a bit more independent in the kitchen, and they've got a cheaper like thermal cooker that they use that she says is not as great as a Thermomix, but does what she needs at the moment. So they're trying to find a way to utilize that a little bit more. So hopefully we can give you some ideas.
All you really need to do is have, if you want to teach the 11-year-old how to cook or how to be more sufficient, all you need to do is really have the ingredients ready for her, program the dish that you wanted to make into the Thermomix and teach her. It's pretty easy to press a button and start the recipe. She really only needs to learn how to use scales and pretty much be on her way.
Yeah, it depends on what the thermal cooker is. But yeah, it's so, look, it is pretty easy. Isn't it? especially with a recipe where it's all chuck in and blend. But I personally love my kids are learning maths. I love that they're learning like about measurements and everything, and they're learning about food. I don't know if you saw my post, but last night, Prue, my kids decided to make themselves a salad. And it's so beautiful to watch them getting creative in the kitchen, and also trying new flavors and copying what we're doing, because they're the skills that are transferable. You know, they're going to grow up, and when they move out of home, they're going to actually know how to do stuff. They're going to have seen it, you know, monkey see, monkey do. So I love it. And especially with the Thermomix, I love the guided recipes, because they can just hit next. They can't read yet, but they can sit there and they just have to look at it, hit next, and keep going through. So I'm excited about the upcoming update. Prue, you were going to share a little bit about this, but Cookie Do 3.0, do you want to do the rundown on it?
I'm just printing. I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, there's some exciting stuff coming in terms of with the TM6 on that big screen there. You can see in Prue's picture, we get recipes up on the screen. So it's all what we call guided cooking. Prue's just shown us manual cooking, so how you can do any kind of recipe you want, basically.
Next recipe that I'm going to show you is from Cookadoo. Did you just say that you did talk about Cookadoo?
No, I was leaving it open for you to talk about 3.0, Cookie 3.0, which I'm not sure, Yolanda, I think you said in your registration you don't have that. I just wanted to share that it is open to anyone with a thermal cooker. Like, you don't have to be a Thermomix owner. So if you want to share about it, Prue.
The Cookadoo currently is something that TM6 and TM5 as well owners, they have to buy the cook key to go connect to their machine. But the TM6 owners, it just connects automatically to your machine through your phone, through Wi-Fi. And the new version that's coming out, which is so exciting, is basically you can now convert your own recipe, something that maybe your grandma has made, a family secret recipe, just anything. You can now convert it and have it saved on your Thermomix so that you can use it in the guided cooking form. And the guided cooking form is where it basically has inbuilt scales, tells you, you know, pour in the flour to 250 mils next. So it's very step by step. And so you don't have to manually, go into your scales or go into your heat function or your chop method or the method and manually turn the nozzle. It's all guided.
Yeah. Awesome.
Currently on the version of Cookadoo, we have over 9,000 English recipes and more if you can speak other languages, which is fantastic. But you know, with the new version coming out where you can convert your own recipes, is going to be highly desirable to a lot of people, because I know for one, I've got a lot of recipes that I love to cook that are my mum's, and I can't wait to be able to convert them to a Thermomix recipe.
I'm excited. I've had a few sessions with some customers already in converting recipes with the new TM6. So we've got the recipe community platform that a lot of Thermomix owners use, but any thermal cooker. So Yelena, if you're not over there on the recipe community sussing out things, I highly recommend you do have a look over there too, because you'll find some gold. Yeah.
But this is guided cooking, what I'm about to do next. So therefore, I've already programmed the Thermomix to make some breakfast bars. So I'm going to go into it and I'm going to select it. And I'm going to press start cooking. So it's already told me to preheat the oven, which is already on. And I've already greased a tray. And now it's telling me to put in 70 grams of brown rice. I actually didn't have any brown rice, but I already had some cooked up brown rice like in this thing, which I don't think would be a problem. Do you, Laura?
Yeah. Work with what you got. And you know what, you'll always find if it works or not. Like, this was what today was all about. I'm going to be sharing my granola recipe here, but it's very much winged every time. And I think I've already shared that with you, Yolanda. So I'm going to be converting it with you in person. And I'm the same as you. I actually was out of shredded coconut, which I added to the shopping list, but somehow it didn't get bought by my partner. But that's fine, because you can leave things out. You can chop and change your fruit and all of that. So that's the beauty of when you learn to be confident.
It's just asked me to put 1 tablespoon of flaxseed in, so I have, and 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, which I'm doing now. Press next, insert the measuring cup, which is what we call the lid, and on speed 9 for 10 seconds. So this is either going to grind or mill or do something like that. It looks like that so far. So it's going to do something because it's on the highest speed, which is going to make it more granulated.
Yeah, so making your own rice flour and
it's
stuff.
milling. So this is
That's right. It blocks you out, so you can't even you probably can't even hear me. But yeah, so we do love to do some milling functions at our house. We make our own flours all the time. That's how we save money because we're gluten free. So I don't know if Prue can actually hear me right now, but I'll add my little spotlight. But yeah, we make our own almond meal, buckwheat flour, rice flour, all sorts of stuff in our house, and it saves us a lot of money, which is cool. You know, it's nice to know that, yeah, you're saving a few dollars to go towards something else. But yeah, milling function, and I'm not sure with another thermal cooker, but with the Thermomix is usually speed 9 or 10. So one of the highest speeds there. And there's a lot of recipes on Cookie Do on telling you how to make your own flours too. So if you're still not sure when you first become an owner or you have your own appliance, you're still not utilizing for that, and definitely check out some recipes. Cookie Do as well, Yolanda, I should mention, has a 30-day free trial. So if you do want to suss out just to grab some recipes, you can jump over there and register. So I'm going to pop the link in the chat box.
It mills it really fine. It looks amazing. I love it when it does this. It's such an awesome function. Okay, put it into a bowl. Get it all out. It wasn't very dry, so it's sort of all sticky, which is fine. I'll just get it all out.
I love the improv. I love it. You use up that. This is what I found with the Thermomix, and you'll probably be the same. Like, I use up so much more stuff in my pantry. I use more spices. I'm like, my variety in what I cook is ridiculous now compared to what I
even for our little kids, having such exposure to all the different spices that you use in all the different recipes, and even like fresh herbs. I've just started my own herb garden because I was spending so much money on all the different herbs each week. Don't get me wrong, loved that I was doing that because my kids were getting that, and even I never used to cook with that kind of stuff, and now every recipe, so it's really good. So now it's asking me to put in some apple, which I've got here. Okay, press next, insert the lid again, press next, and then it's going to go to speed 5, which is going to chop the apple up for me.
I'm getting ready to chop up some nuts and stuff to get them in the oven too.
No worries. Yeah, scrape down the sides just to make sure that it's all there. Just showing you the chopped up apple.
You do much grated stuff in yours, Prue?
I grate everything. So I don't buy anything grated anymore. And don't get me wrong, I never used to buy grated cheese because I think it's really yuck. It's got a lot of added preservatives in it, and you know, it's also just a rip off the fact that you've got to buy it done. But now I buy everything and grate it. I used to grate it myself when needed. Now I buy a block of cheese, parmesan, whatever it is, and get home, cut it into thirds, put it in, and grate it in 5 seconds and put it into a Ziploc bag, and it's done. And it's way healthier and way cheaper for you.
Yeah, so good. What speed? Do you know what speed you use?
I do 5.
Yeah, cool. I hear a few. I'm lazy, so I like less seconds and higher speed. But we don't really eat cheese, so I wasn't sure with cheese specifically, because I think in the past I've done speed 7, but I don't do it enough to know, like, memorize it.
Yeah,
but that's a good little tip. Speed 5, rightio.
So now I am going to put in 200 grams of dried fruit. I've used what have I used? Raisins, cranberries, and some blueberries and some dates. So 200 grams. That's next. Now we're going to speed 7, which probably going to chop it.
Can't hear ya.
Really funny, like you said.
We can never hear you. Like, it's so funny. You forget that it blocks you out. Like, it's great that Zoom does that so that we don't hear the loud noise. But if we're talking and you can't hear us, apologise.
It's going to have to do it again, I guess, to get it really, really, really fine. Remember, these are muesli bars, and I have to find the better because I want my kids to eat them.
You can swap out whatever fruit the recipe calls for and just do the same in quantity of like what you've got in the cupboard as well. And if you wanted muesli bars without fruit, like if you're really conscious of the sugar content, you could remove the dried fruit too. Like all of these recipes on Cookie Do, there's a lot of muesli bar recipes, but if you find one that's kind of roughly what you like and you want to chop and change the ingredients, by all means, it's safe and totally fine to do that too.
Now putting in some rolled oats, 90 grams. I haven't eaten anything today and I'm starving because I knew I was going to have all this coming my way.
Yeah, I know you'll have a big lunch. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I know I definitely do the same as a mum. How often do you just like not eat breakfast because it gets to like 11 o'clock and you're like, oh my God, where has the day gone?
Now, I didn't have any brown rice puff. I could only find these at the supermarket. I didn't actually have them in my house, but you know, I figured brown rice, white rice, white. Brown is obviously the better version. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Work with what you got.
So 50 grams.
Usually I end up cooking with this one.
Yeah.
She's teething. She's a bit cranky today, but that's what happens sometimes. And that's why I love this business. Like, oh, she's definitely
some coconut, some decimated coconut. I love coconut at the moment. I've been on a really big health kick, trying to lose some weight for summer, and was on a shakes diet for a couple of weeks. The Thermomix was amazing for me because obviously that you can buy a blender and you can make a shake in a blender, but it's just the power of it. You can put everything in, and I was also on a strict diet, whereas I was only having dinners that consist of around 450 calories, and I'm really bad at calorie counting. I just can't do that. But with the Thermomix, because on Cooker Do you can see all the calories, I just went and picked out literally 100 recipes that I could choose from over a 3-week period. They were all under 450 calories.
Oh, so easy, girl.
I know. How good. So it made my little diet quite manageable.
Yeah, it's awesome to be able to see the nutrition content of everything, isn't it?
So we've got a little bit of sugar here. This consists of 70 grams. Now, I've never made this before, so I'm probably going to just do the whole 70. But you know what? If they're, you know, if I think they can have less, next time I make them, I'll have the content. Some pepitas. Where are you? Here they are.
You do that. Like typically when I make a new recipe, like I make at least probably one new recipe a week. I'm always trying new things, but I never did that
in 6 months.
Pardon?
I haven't made the same recipe in 6 months.
Yes. Nah. And as a consultant, how awesome is it? Because you're like, I don't know, I guess you're kind of wanting to show your customers new things too, so you're motivated. But I love it. I love how we are always getting variety. But I typically, if I really like something, I make it the first time to the recipe. And then I'm always like, oh, that could do with having less sugar, or that could, you know, then you kind of know how it's going to work out as well. So sometimes you do just have to trial and error things. And I have flops all the time that I just have trialed things and swapped ingredients and it didn't work out. But it's part of the learning curve with the Thermomix.
I've just put in 2 eggs and now 50 grams of honey. I'm so looking forward to this recipe. It's got so much yumminess in it.
I'm good. I'm going to pop this baby down and see if she'll have a sleep.
Okay.
You're taking the reins for a moment.
The reserved rice mixture, the mixture that I did earlier, that I put into a bowl, put that in. And now we are going to put some coconut oil. Where is it? See how easy it is just to follow a recipe. Like I used to love recipe books and I used to get them out and read them, but I never followed through because I just didn't have the time with 2 kids to read, get out measuring spoons, you know, have to then go back and, oh, where am I up to in the book? But I was really into the recipes, but I didn't have the time to follow the recipe. But with this, it's just amazing. It's just basically a recipe book for dummies. So now it's actually giving me a description, which is one thing the Thermomix is fantastic for. It actually shows you pictures, so you really can't, you know, get lost or stuff it up. So it's telling me to put in the spatula while it's going around to help it a little bit. Okay. So, get it off the sides, I guess, and so it doesn't, sometimes it sticks to the sides and just make it all really mixed in. Doesn't really often ask you to do this, but I have come across it a few times.
I love that you can put the spatula in there. How good is it? Like I used to
green gelato in like 5 minutes with all the off fruit that I've frozen. I do that quite often for the kids during the week. Do you make fruity drink?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. And even back at uni, before, like 3 kids, I lived off like smoothie bowls and stuff when I had the time to do them more often. But you'd have to sit there and like shake your blender and like get it to constantly like go back onto the blade. So I love the spatula. I love how it does that.
All right, so now this is what it looks like, and it's just a whole lot of mixture. What I'm going to do, it's just telling me to basically pour it into the
baking tray thing, dish,
tray, and smooth it out and pop it in the oven. So if you want to start, Laura, and then hopefully we can see the finished product soon.
Yeah, too easy. All right. I was planning on today keeping it really real. So I was having a joke to Prue before we started. Like I've still got my like breastfeeding singlet top underneath. I just chucked on. I pretty much slept in that. But pretty much most mums know the feeling of like rolling out of bed and trying to get the kids out the door for school or whatever. And sometimes you're lucky if you manage to redo your messy bun, which was me today. I actually just pulled it out and chucked it back up. But anyway, I wanted to be really real with you guys. So I whipped up some quick little bliss balls for the kids this morning. And quite often I don't bother washing the bowl. You know, if there's something like that I know I'm then going to go on to make a smoothie with or granola like I'm about to, you know, you don't need to always clean your bowl and always use the scraps and the leftovers that are in there. So that's my handy little tip. If you can be really clever, some might call it lazy, but I call it genius and being savvy. So I often do that and make a smoothie and something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by doing the granola. And like I said, when I did this, I didn't weigh anything. I put things in measuring cups and stuff roughly to get a guide, but I never got it in grams. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to kind of quickly weigh things, write it down and like suss out a recipe, because as you know, with Cookie Do 3.0, if you're watching this replay, you are going to want to get all your favorite recipes into the recipe community so that you can transfer them straight onto your Thermomix. Now, I'm going to swipe across to the function. I'm going to bring up my scales, okay? So make sure that's 10 and tip in your ingredients. So I've just added in about, we'll call it 130 grams of almonds, okay? So I'm going to chop these up. Now, I purchased broken pieces of cashews to save money. It's a really savvy way of buying bulk nuts. So I've got like broken pieces. So I don't need to chop these, but if you were using whole cashews, you could add them at this step too if you like. And I'm going to just pop the lid on so you can see nice and not clean from doing bliss balls. Getting out of that, I'm going to mill these up. So I'm going to go about speed 5 as well because I want them to be chunky and roughly chopped. So I'm going to go about 3 seconds on speed 5. You could, if you were hearing or feeling like it was going too long, you know, most competent or, you know, long-term Thermomix users will hear the sound changes. So you could always just hit stop with a Thermomix and stop it where it is, but I'm happy with how they've been chopped. I know it's going to be hard to see without me tipping them on the laptop, but what I've done is I've preheated the oven, ready to roast these. Now, I think they taste so much better when you roast them, but you could use raw nuts in this granola as well. So I'm just going to pour these out onto my rose gold baking tray with my silicone mat on there. So if you don't have a silicone baking, like oven mat, and just use some baking paper, obviously. And there's just a couple caught under the blade there. Yeah, perfect. All right. So doing that, I'm going to add my cashews too, and I'm going to put it in the oven at about 160 degrees. You don't have to write any of this down if you're watching, because I'm going to send you this recipe properly written up after today. But we're doing it together. I wanted to show you what it's like, real life, what it's like as a mum who just often wings things. You know, that's what it's like here in this household. All right, so I've done that. Now, while we're waiting for those just to roast up a little bit, I am going to quickly go on with my smoothie bowl, okay? Absolutely love these. They are amazing, and they are such a great way of getting sneaky vegetables and things in with kids and stuff. Today, I'm going to be following the guided recipe and adding some superfoods and stuff on the top, but this is such a base, you know, guide. You don't have to follow this like we've said before. So with my Cookie Do app, I've just planned my week. I've popped it into my week here, and I'm going to open that up. And that's the one we are doing today. So this is the raspberry, which you would have seen a photo on the image if you registered, but raspberry smoothie bowl with chia seeds, okay? So you could scroll down here and have a little bit of a look and get all your ingredients out, which it does save you a lot of time. I highly recommend. What I'm going to do first, though, because we've still got the bowl that had some nuts and stuff in it, is before I start, I'm going to make my own version of LSA. So for those that aren't familiar, it actually stands for linseed, sunflower seeds, and almonds. So it's basically a superfood dry mix that you can add to smoothies, sprinkle on top, mix through your porridge, pretty much anything. But if I was to give a tip to mums for who have busy mornings, I would say make up a blend of a superfood powder blend. So it can be whatever you've got. Flax seeds or linseeds are really high in omegas and are really great for you. Obviously, sunflower and almonds, they have great fats in them, good protein. They're awesome. But I'm going to make a little bit of a different version today because I'm low on almonds. I'm low on other stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my whole jar. So I'm going to put some sunflower seeds in, okay? And I'm going to make a bulk batch here, even though we're only using a little bit in this smoothie. So I'm going to put in about, let's go with about 80 grams of sunflower seeds, 80 grams of pepitas, okay? These are really, really good. They've got a good iron content. Amongst many other things too. And nuts are really good for magnesium as well, which is really important for mums with brain fog, mums that need, energy. So super important to be getting some healthy fats and nuts in. Now I'm actually going to put in some of this. You guys might not be familiar with this. This is some resistant starch, like green banana powder. So I'm putting a little bit of this in. I'll do it at the end, but I'm putting it in my mix to go in. So it's really, really high in fiber, which is so, so good for your gut and the good bacteria in your gut. And again, really important for mood and energy and everything as a mum. So highly recommend. So I'm just going to blend up those two together. And I had to, because I ran out of flaxseed, I had to buy some flax meal from Woolies because I'm waiting for my my next bulk order of linseed. So it's good to know you can still access some of those health foods from your local supermarket, but I would normally mill them up myself. So speed 9. So like 4 seconds is honestly, like 3 or 4 seconds is all you need to mill up some seeds and stuff really fine. Hopefully you can see the powder. I'll tip it out into a little bowl, maybe even.
You can see it.
You can see a bit clear. Oh, yeah, it's hard to see. But I'll put that in a jar. So I have a heap of jars. I'm a jar hoarder. I have a heap of jars, but I like to make up these little blends and things that are going to make breakfast easier. So that will go, a little bit of that is going to go in our smoothie bowl. And I'm going to put the rest in this big bowl for now. I really need to get my hands on a jam funnel from the Mix Shop, Prue. I've been wanting for ages a jam funnel. Have you seen the jam funnels? They're these huge funnels, and like if you mill your own flour and stuff, it makes putting things in jars so much easier.
Oh, I saw that the other day.
Yeah, and I've wanted one for ages, and I literally, every time I do an order, I've forgotten to add it because I'm usually getting, you know, consultant stuff. I'm like, oh, I really need one in my life.
I'm gonna have a look now.
Yeah. So add the link, if you look it up, add the link for that in the chat box. I feel like every mum, especially allergy mums that are making their own flours and stuff like that, need one of them in their life. All right, so back to my recipe, which I thought I'd press start with and I hadn't. So now we're up to adding some cashews, okay? So we're going to do the base of, where did my cashews go? Oh, over here. Too much stuff on the bench. Going to do the base of the toppings. So this is, you could skip this step, but I'm just going to the purpose of the guided recipe. I'm going to try and follow it. This is just chopping up nuts again, which you've seen, but they're going to be sprinkled on top. So I'm going to do it, but I'm going to just half the time. And again, chopping these up. I wanted them a little bit finer on my smoothie bowl this morning. So transferring them, nice and crumbled. They look like granulated peanuts. You know when you buy granulated peanuts from the supermarket? I'd rather that consistency today rather than like big chunks.
All right, I'm popping it in the Mix Shop right now.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I need to do because it saves your cart. So you can like slowly collect some stuff in
there.
And I'm excited because a lot of all of my old customers, we've got a new system now, a new delivery system where you're really supported. And some of my old customers that didn't end up getting like a delivery event when they bought their Thermomix are going to get 20% off at the Mix Shop. So I've been going through all the fun stuff with them that they can now buy, and like getting $80 off a bowl is awesome, incredible savings. So, and I've got some customers that are excited.
That is a good one.
I need some frozen raspberries, so hang on.
The Mix Shop is a fantastic, like everything the Thermomix sells, and obviously you don't need to have any of these things. The Thermomix, once purchased, comes with everything you actually need. But if you want some little added extras, if you're making popsicles, or if you want some cupcake trays, or more spatulas, or anything sort of cooking related, they've got beautiful pizza trays, a whole lot of rose gold appliances. They've got a really, really good selection.
Yeah, and it just helps you get even more out of the Thermomix, doesn't it? Sometimes, you know, we don't need these little tools and things, but if they're going to save us more time, and, you know, a big advocate for me, you know, is making things more fun and more kid-friendly. You know, if the kids want to eat it because it's a nice, fun shape.
That's right.
So I've got about 150 grams of yogurt. So this is going to make enough for the kids' snack when they get home this afternoon, because they're in care at the moment. So I'll be back for Sabo, and I'll keep this in a fridge in some little like bowls for them, and they can sprinkle their own things on and get really creative. They love it. They get so into it. Now, because we're dairy free, I've just used coconut yogurt, and I use this brand of coconut milk. It's the best because it doesn't have any additives or any like nasty stabilizers or emulsifiers or anything. It's just literally filtered water, which is good, coconut milk, a little bit of organic brown rice, and some sea salt. The brown rice makes it nice and thick, so it's really good for like with coffee, we found. Just, you know, if anyone's thinking about, I know I get a lot of allergy questions on my page. I'm very much the allergy queen. So for anyone watching,
I wish I met you when my little boy was between 0 and 1. He was milk protein allergy.
Oh,
yeah.
Really common though, and like I get a lot of questions about it, and often, and I know a few of the girls that are going to be watching the replay of this, you know, I have had questions. So, yeah, I'm going to be sharing everything that I'm doing right now and giving those little tips. Now, I need half an avocado flesh only cut into cubes. So I love adding avocado and frozen zucchini to smoothie. Makes it creamy. Both of those things you would not expect. But
they always say if you want to replace a banana in a smoothie because it's the texture they're looking for, replace it with avocado.
Yeah, so avocado and so substitutes for bananas. So if you get sick of adding like frozen bananas to every smoothie, like you'll find a lot of smoothie recipes have frozen banana in them because it's delicious. But if you get sick of it and you want to mix it up and get some greens into your kids' diet, avocado and frozen zucchini, you can really do anything. If you freeze a little bit, but it tastes even better. But yeah, so I've got some avocado here. I want to just show you guys this little trick that I learned not too long ago, and I got excited about it. So I thought maybe some other mums might get excited about it. But who has always got a knife and like hacked to get the avocado seed out? Same, 100%. So all you have to do is put your finger at the back of it and like push it out, and it just plops out. You don't have to get a knife and get an extra thing dirty and like
how good's that?
Hack your hand off. Oh, it's like my favorite thing. We go through so many avocados and I was so sick of it. So I'm adding this. It says cut into cubes, but CBF. You don't always need to follow every step. This is going to blend. So don't really know why you would go the extra mile and cut it up, to be honest.
No. You can learn that about a Thermomix. Like sometimes it tells you to cut things, but at the end of the day, it's pretty resilient. You can just chuck it in and it'll roll. Yeah.
And sometimes it tells you to wash and clean and dry your bowl, and you don't have to do that.
No.
You learn these little hacks as you go, which is cool. Now this has got some maple syrup in it for a little bit of sweetness. I've just got a little bit of that. You could use brown rice malt syrup. You could use or just rice malt syrup. I use brown rice because we have a little bit of fructose intolerance. I do. So I try and go easy on like too many high fructose sweeteners like honey and maple syrup. But now we're adding our LSA, which was optional. So I've got this amount here. I'm gonna add a little bit more of that actually. Where's my spoon gone? I'm gonna add about that much of that. I'm not sharing with anyone, and I can lick the spoon. And some of this. So my goal for my gut health in building up my good bacteria, because I'm quite low with my autoimmune disease, I've come to a really good point where I don't have to be on medication or anything like that. I'm one of the lucky ones, really, but it has been 100% diet for me to get myself to this point with my Crohn's disease. And the thing that's really made a huge difference is implementing lots of good bacteria, lots of fermented foods and probiotics, but feeding those good bugs with lots of prebiotics. So if you ever want to know about prebiotics, probiotics, then hit me up. It's a whole huge another topic in itself, but that's why I'm using the resistant starch. And we've got a next door neighbour that has a lime tree, and I've pinched some lime off them. So I've got 10 grams of lime juice going in. But like I said, you can chop and change these. I really like adding a little bit of lemon or lime juice to stuff because I feel like it gives it that tang. And the fact that this is using raspberries will make it a little less sweet too. All right. Now I did turn the oven off and just like open the oven door so they didn't keep burning, by the way, guys. So the nuts are fine, if you were wondering. I'm going to blend that.
Can't hear. Must be so loud.
Now, most of the time, you'll get the hang of, and I'm Prue, you might have been all over this, you've just done a smoothie challenge, but you find sometimes things blend for like a minute and they don't need it. Do you find that?
What did you say? They blend in a minute and then what?
So some recipes will blend for a minute, or like any recipe, you could be doing a step and you're like, oh, it doesn't need 3 minutes. Do you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, I don't know why yet.
So that's what I've just done because it's like a minute, but I mean, you can check and see if it's done, which I'm going to do, but it's like 100% liquid smoothie, awesome. Like, and to be honest, if there's a tiny little frozen chunk in there for me, I don't mind. And I'm all about, I don't like waiting around. If I'm like preparing something to eat right now, I don't wait. So it basically is up to the point where we just divide that into 2 bowls. So this is enough for 2 people. Obviously, my tip as a mum, a busy mum, is always, if you can, double. Cook once, eat 2 or 3 times is my rule in this house. And I always get stuck into Dale, my partner, if he makes something for me. Like, I shouldn't, because I'm so grateful when he does cook. But when he does cook, often he'll do a recipe and it's like 1 serving, and he'll be like, oh, and I'm like, you've got to check. And
Oh no.
double everything. But he's made some really beautiful things too. I shouldn't be, throwing him under the bus online. But yeah, he's really competent with it. But he's come to the space too where he'll just choose a recipe and follow and not think. And I'm the same, to be honest. That's what I love about the guided cooking, because most days I can't think. I just want to be able to get something on the table and not literally have to think about it. And I've hacked this. I've hacked it with Cookie Do and meal planning and using that to find recipes. So Yolanda, if you're there, yell out, what's your ideal time to spend in the kitchen? Like, what would you be happy to spend most days? Would it be 15 minutes? Would it be, oh, there's a message there, by the way, I've missed that. Oh no, that's from you. Yeah, what's your sweet spot? Some people they're happy to spend an hour in the kitchen. They're creative ones that really love it. But most of the time, us mums, we just can't afford that time in the kitchen. So I'm like 15 minutes prep time. So I look for recipes on Cookie Do that are 15 minutes prep time. They might go and, total cook time might be an hour, but I'm fine with that, because I'm like, you know what, I can be outside playing with the kids or cleaning up. So if you can see, nice and smooth here. There wasn't any chunks at all. I'm going to put it in my little bowl there. I'll put that aside until I can scrape that out for the kids. Now, here comes the fun bit. So you can top this with whatever you want. The recipe actually called to top it with a little bit more avocado and stuff, which I'm actually just going to leave out because I've got it in there. I'm happy with that. But I've got a little bit of rolled oats and some hemp seeds. So I'll take a photo of this and I can show you guys. But you can make fun little patterns and pictures. And I find that kids love that. Your chopped up cashews. Usually I try and go for different colours. This is where the chia seeds comes in. You could, slice up a kiwi fruit. That would be a beautiful colour right now with this bright pink. Right now I've got lots of whites and those colours. I actually really like to use some of my granola on top of smoothie bowls though. So when we finish making that in a moment, I'll show you. So I just grab a little bit of, this is what it looks like done. You can hear it. It's like toasted, nice. So I'm going to chuck a few chunks of that on. I will take a photo and I will send it in the email so you guys can see properly, because there's no way.
We can't see it. Can we have a look?
I know, but there's no way I'm going to be able to tip it and show you guys. But
that's okay. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, good one. Beautiful.
I've used a really big bowl, but it's like one of my favorite ones that I like to use when the kids aren't around. So, yeah, so you could top it with whatever you want. Again, I've got some extra good fats and stuff in there. And yeah, make it a fun game to do with the kids.
Yolanda, I just saw that, sorry to cut you off, Yolanda's just put a comment in on the chat that she's usually spends around an hour in the kitchen, but now she has a cranky baby. Let me just tell you one thing about the Thermomix that's blown my mind. And I can't tell you, basically you don't spend much time in the kitchen at all, because the Thermomix is doing a lot of the cooking, sauteing, or even slow cooking, everything that you would usually be stirring, whatever you used to spend a lot of time doing in the kitchen, the Thermomix now does for you. So you could put together, you could spend, maybe 3 minutes doing a few steps, but then you'd be walking away for 20 minutes while it does something else. So literally by 4:30, I like to start dinner for my family around 4:30 every day, and most of the time it's on the table by 5:30, but in that time I've also bathed the kids. So it's
smart, not hard, isn't it?
I've got so much spare time whilst I'm cooking dinner to go and put the clothes on the line, do stuff with the kids, bath the kids, attend to the kids, do whatever I have to do.
Yeah,
and that's because I'm not going to stand there and watch it while it does things like a lot of the, let's just say we're making a spaghetti and we have to, or a risotto, and you have to stand there and stir for half an hour, whatever. You don't do that anymore because it does it all for you.
So Prue, I'd love you to share, like tell everybody, because the recording won't be able to see the chat box, but tell everyone what your page is so that they can follow you as well. Lena can follow you because you've got some great tips and tricks, as a busy mum as well.
My Instagram page is good one.
While you're looking up that, I just want to show you this tip. So this is one of my favorite tips too. Again, lazy or smart, I don't know, I'll let you decide. But if you've got a wet Thermomix bowl, it's come straight out of the dishwasher, pop a tea towel in, pop it on reverse and pop it on 1 or whatever, and walk away until you come back and it'll be dry. Like, it'll literally take probably 10 seconds, by the way, depending on the tea towel you've got in there. But you don't have to be constantly doing things. Let a machine work for you and be your little helper, you know. So I just had to dry that one last little bit because, well, I was going to mill in this, but I decided to do it all in my dirty bowl and it worked. As you could see, it worked fine. There was no chunks. So I'm going to quickly go on with this because I'm mindful that we promised roughly about an hour and I don't want those watching back getting too caught in this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to melt some coconut oil in the bowl too. Now, where's my coconut oil gone? There. I'm loving the warm-up mode with the TM6. This new mode, I use it so much more. So when I first got my TM6, I never really used it, or when it first came in, I never really used the warm-up mode. And now it is probably one of my most used functions, not just because I'm heating baby food. So I do bulk baby food, freeze it into portions, you know, heat up a cube, blah, blah, blah. But I love this for so many reasons. And I'm going to explain it how it works for those that don't have a Thermomix. But basically the warm-up modes, you go across to your functions. You can select whatever temperature you would like up to 90 degrees, turn the dial and walk away and it will get it to that temperature and stop. So not only is it saving you energy because you're not having to know, okay, how long is it going to take? You know, will it take 5 minutes to get to 90 degrees? Will it take 10 minutes? You don't have to know. You just have to turn it on to the temperature you want. It'll beep at you and tell you when it's ready. And I love that it tells me because how often, I don't know if I'm on my own with this, but how often have you put veggies or something on the stove top, walked away, like them steaming, walked away and you have completely run out of water and burnt the saucepan or just completely overcooked your veggies? Because that's me. So I'm going to measure this in grams first before I put that on because I want to know how much coconut oil I'm using. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to go, it was about that much. So I'm going to say 50 grams, all right? All right. Make a note of that. You guys are going to have, if this doesn't work, then that's an issue. I'll have to go back and have another practice run, but it's worked for me in the past. So about 50 grams, go to my warm-up mode. I just want to melt this, but, you know, I'll just put it at 60 degrees anyway and just turn the dial and it's going to melt, okay? While that's starting to warm up, because I want it to get going, I'm going to add a little bit of coconut sugar to it. So this is just to add a little bit of sweetness to it and just a bit more of a caramelized thing when we put it in the oven one last time. So I'm just going to get it nice and, you know, sweet. Not much, like literally 2 tablespoons is all I do. And that's not a proper tablespoon either, but I would say 2 tablespoons. You could omit this, but I just think it is really nice with that extra sweetness. And I use a little bit of cinnamon as well. So, sorry, not just cinnamon. I use vanilla as well as cinnamon. So I've just got this ground cinnamon here that I'm going to do a teaspoon of. I'm getting this nice liquid going in the bowl. I'm going to pop all of my other elements in there to stir and coat, and it's just going to go in the oven and it's done. So it's a super quick one, this one. And we don't have to wait for it to be toasted. We can finish up beforehand because you guys have seen the finished product. But yeah, it's so easy, this version. I've just got some ground vanilla powder. You could use vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract if you've got that. So I'll make sure I write those options when I write up their recipe. So what I'm going to be doing is popping this on my recipe community account, and I'll share the link to my recipe community.
Great. Can't wait.
So that when we get 3.0, everyone can just add this straight to their Thermomix and not have to like remember everything. It's going to be so good. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to take a little photo of my bowl because let's be honest, I'll get off and I'll start demolishing this and I'll forget to take a photo because that's what I do. But it looks really pretty with the fresh strawberries. I didn't show you guys with the fresh strawberries on there. So, ta-da. I don't know. The lighting's not great. It's really hard with the laptop. So while that's doing its thing too, I will just mention, so this month, we actually have, for the first time in a while, a gift with the purchase of your Thermomix. So what that is a free gift that when you buy a Thermomix, it comes along, you know, no strings attached. And that is our Meals in a Flash cookbook, which is super quick meals under 30 minutes, like super quick. And is this awesome little kitchen toolkit. So I just wanted to quickly run through a couple of these while we're doing this recipe. And I'm going to like tell you a little bit about how I use some of them. But what I'll do is pop in my sunflower seeds first. So sunflower seeds, I used 75 grams. Again, this is a rough guide. You could reduce these. But for the purpose of my recipe, I'll make sure it's bang on. And buckwheat kernels. So this is what I use, buckwheat, which I have a bulk lot of, and I make buckwheat flour out of as well. So the buckwheat is 130 grams. Okay. And I'm not going to add my chia seeds or anything like that until after it comes out of the oven. But I'm going to stir this through along with my roasted nuts. Again, you could have skipped that step and just had these raw, then cooked them. But I just feel like it adds that little bit extra flavor when you roast them first. Lid's going to go on. I'm going to stir that around, making sure I haven't forgot anything. Oh, and my brown rice syrup is going to go in now too. Nearly did forget something. So I just use, I use brown rice. Like I said, you could use any sweetener here. Because this is low in fructose, I use about half a cup. So I'm going to just eyeball this and we'll measure what it is. My spoon. I'm going to go about 60 grams of that. Super sticky. I've made a mess of it, but that's okay. Oh no, yeah, about 50 grams I've done. All right. 50 grams. Okay, cool. So you can do a session like this, guys, with any consultant. If you want to convert any of your recipes to your Thermomix, then get in contact. I'm going to leave it on warm up to just stir around here. But yeah, get in contact and we can go through this with you and we can let you know where to chop and change steps, because sometimes making something Thermomix approved, you might need to swap the order of the steps around. You might need to mill up something first and then put that aside, or you might, so if you ever want support in changing around recipes for a thermal cooker or any kind of Thermomix, then reach out to a consultant, because we're here to share our passion and our love. But yeah, that is a little brief snippet on how it looks basically in the kitchen of a consultant and how we come up with recipes. How have you gone? Have you done a few, Prue? Do you have some on your recipe community?
Not yet, but
that's right. Usually you've got a handful of them though, you just haven't uploaded them, because that's my problem. I've
got a few, like I've written a lot down.
Yeah.
I just need to put it on recipe community, and now obviously with the incentive that it's going to go on to Cook or Do, definitely we'll be doing it soon.
Make us all go and actually do it, hey, because I'm the same. Like I'm shocking. I post them on my socials sometimes, even then sometimes I don't, I get slack, but yeah, I'm motivated now to do it properly, get on and update it.
Laura, I just wanted to talk a bit about host rewards also are you going to? At the moment, Thermomix has the most amazing little host reward. I don't know if you guys know what that means. What it means is if you host a demo either at your house or on Zoom, you then get rewarded for it. So you have to have a minimum of 2 people there. It can be family, friends, whoever you think may be interested. If they buy from the demo, then you will be entitled to a free gift. You can use a thermomat, which Laura was using before, or there's things like this, which is called a thermo server, which is like the most amazing thing ever. You can put food in it and it'll stay hot for a couple of hours, even cold for a couple of hours. I use it pretty much every night. But the most exciting thing is, and it's only on for this month until the beginning of November, is this mini vacuum cleaner. And you're on mute.
I am on mute.
Oh,
like, oh my God, I'd forgotten about I love it. This is my baby. You go.
This is the best thing ever. Like, literally, I have fallen in love. I use it on the table. I use it in the car. I use it mainly on the stairs because I've got wooden stairs and, I hate getting the vacuum cleaner on them. Also, they can't be mopped. But I use it everywhere. In fact, I'm looking around thinking I can use it right now. On the couch, it's just the best. But the best bit about it is it retails at $300. And if you were to have a buyer at your demo, then you can actually buy it for $50. And if no one buys it,
$150 saving. That's incredible, isn't it?
I know, it's massive.
I can't believe that.
Even if no one buys, you still get incentivized and you can get pick things at a discounted price, and that will be half price. So you'll still get a discounted price of $150, which is $150 saving. And it's
all the host rewards are at least 50% off just for having gotten a group of people together, which is only 2, a minimum of 2. But yeah, you only need 2 people. And you get 50% off some of these things that are going to support your family, regardless of whether you've got a Thermomix or not. Like those oven mats and stuff, they're the best. And thermo servers. So that's always an option too for anyone watching back. But I know I've got a few keen who have registered for today that are at work currently, and I know they're going to watch this back and be like, oh, I want that mini back, because we've talked about it. We've talked about it a lot. But yeah, so
I've got my little things that are ready to go. Actually, I can show you. So this is the coconut bread.
Ooh.
And it's just the texture of it is so amazing. It's soft.
Yeah.
And literally you can put some butter. Actually, the other day I made some maple syrup butter. So I had some of that on it. It actually can be made with some lemon icing sugar, which is just a mixture of lemon and, what do you mix it with? I think it's just lemon and icing sugar, actually.
Oh, like lemon peel and icing sugar and meal it up. Yeah, how good is that?
And that can go on top too, but because I've cooked it for the kids and when they come home from school, I'm just going to leave that as is. And this has actually turned out really lovely too. My muesli bars, they're quite soft. I probably could have gone in the oven maybe for a few minutes longer, but I don't mind them to be soft. I'm not going to cut it up just yet because it says to leave for 20 minutes, and maybe it'll get a bit harder in that time. But it's looking really lovely, and I had a bit of a taste, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, you're motivating me to stock up on some snacks this weekend. I typically do a lot of bulk baking when my partner's home on the weekend, so I'll spend like an hour and a half in the kitchen on a Saturday and just have like snacks coming out of my ears, and then I don't have to think about it for the whole week. Thanks for joining, Tracy, too, by the way. I wonder if the daylight savings time's gotten Tracy.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I'm just assuming because I know she's in.
Well, luckily, we recorded it.
Yeah, so we've recorded it, Trace, but we've just shown you some finished products. I'll show you my granola. A few bits have stuck, and I'm like a stickler for like no waste. I'm going to get every last bit out. But yeah, she said, oh, crap, yes. I thought that might get a few people. I really should have sent a reminder out. But I've just got, so you saw, you will see that I've just put all my dry ingredients in and just stirred that up. And it's a beautiful, like wet, shiny mixture now. Hopefully you can see the shine there. So it's like a really, gorgeous consistency. I literally just chuck that in the oven for a few moments now, like on 160 degrees. So it crisps up and it's a nice little crunch. If you wanted to chop that further and make it, finer, you could do that. There's just opportunities are endless really with a granola. You can add whatever you want. And after I get it out of the oven, I add my chia seeds and any dried fruit, just so the fruit doesn't burn. And chia seeds obviously are full of omegas, so you don't want to heat them. And what I will say on that quickly before we do end, or actually, if you've got time, I'll go over the kitchen toolkit for those that want to watch that. But what I do is I actually add chia seeds to my water, because these are, again, such a great digestive hack and a little bit of a nutrient boost and a great way to get them in your day as a busy mum. I'm someone who likes to eat and chew, and I forget to drink water. I think that I'm hungry, but I'm actually maybe thirsty. I don't know if you guys know about this phenomenon, but it is a thing. And I actually like having a little like crunch in my water, because it makes me kind of think I'm eating. I don't know. I've got a funny thing about it. But chia seeds should be soaked really if you're eating them, to get the full benefits from them and to digest them properly and get everything out of it. So if you are sprinkling them on top of the smoothie bowl, this is what ours looked like, Trace. Oh, you can't see, but yeah. If you are, just make sure you drink plenty of water with it, because they're really absorptive. So they'll just soak up any moisture, and you want to make sure that you're regular, So yeah, that's my little tip for that. I will just quickly go through while that's in the oven. If you want to stick around, you're welcome to hop off and catch the replay. But also, we are at the end of this, we have a business information session recording that I can play as well if anyone's interested in that. I'll stop the recording of this video and do that though. So if you are watching the replay of this and you are interested to learn a little bit more about what we do and how you could potentially earn yourself a Thermomix for free, then reach out to us, because we'll just show you, we can do a watch party and show you the recordings. But our kitchen toolkit comes with this. This is one of my favorite things out of it. This is like the butter knife, flat, awesome, like spreading jam, spreading anything, but it's got a little serrated edge. So it's so perfect for like cutting your coconut bread and eating it. You should have shown that then. Yeah. Totally. I like literally, this went in my cupboard for a long time and I didn't utilize it. And then I just pulled it out and put it in the drawer, and I use something from it every single day, this kitchen toolkit now. This ice cream scoop, obviously, but it's also perfect for scooping out kiwi fruits, avocado, like anything. It's like a perfect little scoop. The scissors from our kitchen toolkit are like super industrial, commercial grade, strong scissors. Like you're cutting up meats and chickens and stuff. I'm not going to waste it.
It's because it comes in this beautiful little kit. You don't want to ruin it, but you're right. I don't use anything because it's all in here. I need to get it out.
Yeah, well, I've got one of these in our camper van that is saved for on the go, which is perfect because it rolls up and packs up like that. But yeah, the one in the kitchen, I typically don't have it in this, but I have, for your benefit, put it in there. A couple of really, really sharp little knives. And my probably second favorite thing is the peeler. Oh my God, the peeler. So this thing is so sharp, by the way. You've got to be really careful. It's good. But it takes the finest layer off. Like you're peeling potatoes or I don't know, something like that. And you just get these huge chunks. I don't know what you guys have liked and what you've previously used, but I can peel carrots into strips and cook as like a nice pasta, like veggie pasta. So I don't know if people know about, spiralized zucchini, so zucchini noodles. I often will just not bother with that and just do strips of like carrot and zucchini with this, because it's so fine and it just is just like delicate to eat, you know what I mean? Anyway, so less waste with this peeler. It's awesome. I use it for a lot of things. That's the quick little rundown on the kitchen toolkit. Obviously comes with the Meals in a Flash cookbook this month. But like I said, as a Thermomix consultant, we get some awesome stuff. And I know there's a couple of you that indicated you were interested in that registered. So reach out and we're happy to share our, advice and the info session and just give you a really good kind of indication of whether it be suited to you. It's not something that we just accept anybody. You do have to kind of have the right qualities and stuff, but it is a lot easier than most people would think too. So this month we have the opportunity to earn another bowl, don't we, Prue?
I'm so excited.
So for being active and getting in there with our business, we can get another bowl. So I've got 2, but 3 would be, I don't know if I'm being greedy, but 3 would be amazing. So I'm hoping to get that. I've only got one more sale to go and I get my another bowl this month. But as a new consultant, This is the first time that consultants have been able to do that. As a brand new consultant coming in, you have the opportunity to do that in your 60-day program, earn another bowl too. Which
I was so silly. I didn't really at the beginning realize the value of a second bowl. Now
you like
doing, but I sold it.
Oh yeah, it's all right. Now you're going to earn yourself another one, aren't you?
Yeah, another one.
But yeah, no, it's pretty cool to be able to just share what we love and give everybody some tips and along the way earn an income for your family and stuff. So like I said, for those who are watching this replay and who showed they were interested, please reach out. I will follow up with you. But without further ado, we've pretty much come to the end. I want to say thank you so much to you, Prue, for jumping on here with me, because I love how many awesome people I've met. Like, we've never actually physically met, Prue and I.
We haven't. We're in different states, but we do a lot of training. Thermomix is a fantastic company. They put you through lots of training and lots of motivational speakers, and they're always trying to better everybody in their skills. Yeah. So we meet lots of lovely people through that.
Cool people, we do. I've got some great friends that I will have forever for life that I've met through Thermomix, and I'm so grateful for this business. Yeah. At a time in my life as a mum where you can become really isolated, hey, like you stay home with your kids and you don't do as much and you don't go
especially
out.
through the last bloody 18 months we've had to go through.
Yeah, let's not even talk about that big elephant in the room, the C word. No, but yeah, it's been a blessing. So thank you so much to you for jumping on this with me, and I'm excited to make that coconut bread. So I'm going to get that link and share it.
It's amazing.
You. And thanks for jumping on.
Follow me on my Instagram. It's Thermolover Prue.
I'll pop it in the email. I'll pop it in the email as well, because then they've actually got it written in case we have some spelling mistakes, because I'm shocking like that. But anyway, I will say thank you and love you and leave you guys. And yeah, we'll hope to see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye, girls. And stick around if you want to watch the video, by the way. But I've just checked the chat box. It's right. We didn't miss anything. So I'm just going to stop that recording.